Good afternoon. Thank you very much for tuning in today to today's episode of discussing learning disabilities and how to help students with them. My name is Ilana Moy, and I'm the Vice President of the Kirksville Local Chapter of Parents with Learning Disabled Students. With me today is my son's teacher, Mrs. Strickland, and his speech language pathologist and special education teacher, Drs. Kincaid and Ott.
My name is Louise Strickland, and I've been teaching in the public schools for 5 years. I've been working with students that have learning disabilities since before I began to teach, due to my little brother having a learning disability. In the school system, I am an advisor for the PODS organization and am currently working on the best ways that teachers can help students with learning disabilities.
Hello everyone, I am Rachel Kincaid and I am a speech pathologist with the Kirksville School District. Today we are here to talk about what can be done to help your child with a learning disability. First, let's start with a simple definition. Learning disabilities is an umbrella term that includes disorders that can affect a child's ability to read, write, or perform mathematical calculations.
Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Ashley Ott, a special ed director working at the Kirksville School District. You all have taken an important step in helping to secure a successful future for your children. Family support is essential for helping your child cope with a learning disability. Educating yourself will help you to better educate your child at home. The various professionals that are helping your children learn in the classroom are not going to be as big a part of your child's life as you are. As Director of Special Education and a parent myself, I understand that the home environment and the school environment overlap.
There are currently 2.4 million students in the U.S. today that are diagnosed with a learning disability and that are receiving special education services in our schools. That number represents 41% of all students receiving special education. Based on those numbers, it should be clear that a better understanding of learning disabilities would help out a lot of students in our country.
Because learning disabilities have a lifelong prognosis, it is important that its presence be detected as early as possible to improve the effectiveness of treatment.
It's helpful to know when talking about learning disabilities how they are identified in the educational system. First, when there is a concern that a child has a learning disability, a screening is performed and, if needed, an evaluation. The evaluation looks at all areas that can be affecting learning to see if there is a discrepancy between intellectual ability and academic performance. If a child has a discrepancy, then it can be determined that the problems they are experiencing are not due to lack of intelligence.
The sad news is there's no cure for your child's learning disability. Be careful if you have found a cure. Please do more research and find out whether it has been tested and proven to be an effective treatment. There are 4 treatment methods that I am familiar with. The first one is cognitive training. It changes the thought process, provides strategies for learning, and teaches self-initiative. Cognitive training looks at unobservable behaviors and prompts observable changes in behavior. This method is appropriate because it helps students with learning disabilities overcome metacognitive problems, which is simply your child thinking about how they will complete their schoolwork, and motivational problems of passivity and learned helplessness. The second method is content enhancement, which modifies curriculum materials to make them a priority. For example, your child would use a graphic organizer or mnemonics to remember curriculum. The third method is direct instruction teaching, especially reading and math, that emphasizes drills and practice immediate feedback. Lessons are precisely sequenced, fast-paced, and well-rehearsed by teacher. In direct instruction, task analysis is very important. It's important because the teacher can teach the different components separately and then teach students to put the parts together. The last method that I know of is peer tutoring.
I've had experience with peer tutoring with my son. There are 2 forms of peer tutoring. The first is class-wide tutoring, where students are taught by peers but trained and supervised by teachers. And the second is peer-assistive learning strategies, which is best practice in reading. In PALS, a higher performing student is paired with a lower performing student, and the students participate in a tutoring session involving alternating roles.
So, you parents have just been exposed to a lot of information, and that can be very overwhelming.
Do not hesitate to contact the various professionals that your child is working with, because they can offer a lot of helpful information as well.
In closing, I want to thank everyone for allowing us to talk with you today about learning disabilities. Hopefully we'll stay in contact in the future and continue to help our children succeed.